Hi Mike and Tara. Alright, I have played around with Geogebra a little bit, and so I'm going to show you what I figured out. So I'm here at web.geogebra.org/app. I created an account, which I think you should probably do, because then you'll be able to save what you create and then load it into the program. Or, well, you might have your students go ahead and create their own poem as you go. So I guess you might want to decide what you want. But when you go in to create your own, after you've logged in, or if you proceed without logging in, you can click on Algebra, and that pulls up this what we looked at the other day. I think it might be helpful to have some grid lines on the back, and so you can go into your settings for the coordinate plane here, and there you can get the grid lines to turn on. There are other forms of grid lines that you can use, but I think that these will be the most helpful for you. And then you can also turn on and off the X and Y axes, but I think that you will want those. So there's that. Okay, so then if you want to create a line, this third thing over has the different line options, and I'd choose the first one that has a line going through 2 points. When you click on that, then if you click on any 2 places, then you can create a line. And I would recommend that when you find your initial 2 points to make your line, that you not click on the X or Y axis, because then it will lock that point to that axis. So if I had clicked here, then it would only be able to go up and down the x-axis, which I don't know is as useful. Alright, so now I've got 2 points, so I'm going to go back over here on my arrow, and I want to rename them, and we're going to use the poem "The Leaf is Falling" that you mentioned when we talked. So if I right click on this, I can go to rename, and then there's the word "the," and if I right click over here, I can rename, and we'll call this "leaf." And then now we need 2 more points, and so first I'll just show, so we can move this around here, but we need those other points that are on the line, and I can even move how far. Is it the leaf or the leaf, or however you want it to be poetry wise. Okay, so now I'm going to add 2 more points. So over here on this second tab, if you go down, there's point, but then there's point on object, and we want to put the point on the line, so choose that one. Then you choose the line, and then and you can create your first point, and then I'll click down and I'll make the second point, and you can put as many as you want on here. So now I'll go back over to the arrow, right click on the point to rename it, and I'll do that down here. Okay, so now I've got the poem, and I can manipulate these around. I can adjust how far each of these is on the line, and then if I move this out, then these are kind of scaled out, so there's some different ways to adjust where the points are on the line. I can change the color of the point, so if I right click and go to Object Properties, then go to Color, I can choose particular color, and then I can X out of that, and I can do that for these other things. I can also change the color of the line similarly, so going to Object Properties, and let's say I want it to be blue, and so you can adjust what you are able to do. If I click on, the only 2 points that I can use to drag the line around are the 2 points that I originally created the line with. The other ones will just go up and down on the line. Okay, so that's some beginning things. So then if we look over here, we can see what the coordinates of each point are, and then it gives us some information about the line. It's in standard form. If we right click on it, then that'll put it into y equals mx plus b form, which highlights for us the slope, which could be important in your lesson if the math part that you're focusing on is the slope. And so we can see what the slope is, and then as we move this around, we can see the slope as well. So let's see. Then there's also a slope tool. If you go over to this angle and you click here, you go down to slope, and then we click on the line. it will calculate the slope here, and the slope of the line shows up over here. So if I go back over and I manipulate these around, then you can see that the slope changes. The way that this shows up over here I think is a little confusing, because it's got the 1 unit over and then it shows the slope, and I don't know, it may or may not be helpful. If you right click on it and you go to Object Properties, you can take the labels off and you can just see how it's calculating the slope. If you keep the label on, you might just want to have it be the value, so that because I think it's a little confusing when it has the m equals over here. And if you decide you might want to not show the object completely, it'll still calculate what the slope is, but then you could say to your students, all right, the slope is negative 1.98. Can you figure out how it's calculating the slope? When I'm moving these around, can you figure out what the computer's doing to calculate that? And let me think if there was anything else. I think that might be it. You okay, I think that's it, and good luck. I'd like to if you want to meet and talk a little bit more about it, I'm happy to do that. If you want to send emails back and forth, I'm happy to do that. We can check in class on Monday too. All right, so good luck. Hope this gets you started.